Math time. Today we're going to combine two lessons into one, and then after that you're going to skip a few pages. But today we're going to look at lessons 155 and 156, and the targets are: I can apply the concept of dividing by 3, I can apply logic to the concept of elapsed time, I can illustrate given combinations, I can relate pennies to parts of dollars in fractional form. Okay, so a lot of big words, but I think you'll know what they mean when we talk about them. So the first thing we're going to do, I hope you have a pencil and paper or a whiteboard and a marker. I want you to do these problems one at a time. Click pause. When you've done it, turn it back on. Check your answer, see if we agree. So the first one is 3,501 take away 1,782 equals. Stop the video, work it, come back to me. When I look at this problem, the bottom is bigger, so I have to borrow. But the problem is there's a 0 in this placeholder, so there are no 10s there to borrow. So I'm going to borrow 100, and I'm going to bring over a group. I'm going to bring over 10 tens. Well, I still haven't moved this over, so I'm going to change that to 9 and this to 11. Now, what I probably, if I were you, and I were at home, I would do here, instead of doing that extra step, the bottom is bigger, I'm going to borrow, so I'm going to make this 350 tens, and I'm going to borrow 1, and now I have 349 tens, and this becomes 11 ones. 11 take away 2 is 9, 9 take away 8 is 1, cannot do 4 take away 7, can I? So now I have to borrow 1,000 and bring over 1,000. So I have 14 hundreds. 14 take away 7 is 7. 2 take away 1 is 1. I want to check that and make sure that I'm right. So I'm going to add my difference. I'm going to add my subtrahend. And I should get my minuend when I check. 9 plus 2 is 11. Carry the 10. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 8 is 10. Put down the 0. Carry the 100. 1 plus 7 is 8. 8 plus 7 is 15. Put down the 500s. Regroup the 1,000. 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 3. So when I added my difference and my subtrahend, I got my minuend. So it checked out correct. You could do this with the extra step, but it's just easier not to do that extra step. I can borrow 100 and I have 10 tens, but I'm going to have to then borrow a 10 and bring it over into the ones place and have 11 ones. This just saves me a step. All right, the next one. I begin in my smallest value, so that's the ones. 1 plus 3 is 4. 4,261 plus 3,473. Pause it. 1 plus 3 is 4. 6 plus 7 is 13. Put down the 3 tens. Regroup the 100. 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 plus 4 is 7. 4 plus 3 is 7. 7,734. And you could check this by subtracting. You could say 7,734 minus 3,473, and I should get 4,261. Now, adding money. Adding money is done just like adding just regular numbers, except that we have values beyond the decimal. And when we have values beyond the decimal, that means that they are smaller than a 1. Because this is my tens column, because this is a $10 bill. This is my ones column, because these are $1 bills. This is my dime, and that means it's 10 cents out of 100 cents, because it takes 100 cents to go to the ones place. And these are my pennies. That is 1 out of 100 cents, because these are pennies. It takes 100 pennies to get to the dollar space. So I start in the smallest value, $32.16 plus $16.89. Begin with my pennies. 6 plus 9 is 15, so I have 15 cents. Put down 5 pennies. Carry the dime. 1 dime plus 1 dime is 2 dimes. 2 dimes plus 8 dimes are 10 dimes. So now I have no dimes, but I have a whole dollar to regroup. 1 plus 2 plus 6 is $9. 3 plus 1, $4. Don't forget your decimal point. I have $49.05. Okay? All right, $20, take away $12.70. Write it down, pause it, then come back on. These are less than a dollar, these are a dollar, these are $10. These are pennies, 1 out of 100 cents. These are dimes, 10 out of 100 cents. When I look at this column, I see that I'm fine because 0 take away 0 is 0. But when I get to the dime column, I have the bottom is bigger, so I better borrow. So I'm going to borrow a dollar. I'm going to erase that so it's out of the way. And I now have $19, and I'm going to take over a dollar. So now I have 100 cents here. 10 take away 7 leaves 3. So I have 30 cents in my change column. 9 take away 2 is 7. 1 take away 1 is 0. I don't need that placeholder. If I added my difference in my subtrahend, I should get $20 in my menu end. So $7.30 plus $12.70. 0, 0, carry the dollar. 1 plus 7 plus 2 is 10. Carry the $10. 1 plus 1 makes 2. So I am correct. Okay? All right. Here I'm missing a factor. I have 7 groups of equal 21. So, counted by sevens, I would say 7, 14, 21. So how many groups? 3. 7 groups of 3 equal 21. Here I am missing a divisor. I'm doing groups of 5 to 25. So count groups of 5 until you say 25. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So 5 groups of 5 equal 25. So my missing divisor was 25. My quotient was 5. All right, now there's not much to the learning section of today's lesson. Before we left school, we were multiplying by 3. So if you know your multiples of 3, you can also divide by 3. So let's start off by counting 3s to 36. 0, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30, 33, 36. And now we're going to work with those multiples. 36 families have brought their tents to the camp this weekend. There are 3 campgrounds to camp this weekend. We need to divide this group of tents into thirds. Remember, when we divide a group of objects into thirds, we are really dividing by 3s. So we have 36 families that are going to be divided into 3 campgrounds. Some of you know this one already. It's the largest multiple of 3 we've counted. Some of you don't. You see Lucy's tail. And you're going to need to count your multiples of 3. So, as Ms. Carlin would do, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30, 33, 36. So I had all 10 up, and then I went back and I added 2 more. So how many multiples of 3 is that? It's 12. How many tents will be in each campground? 12. All right, multiples of 3. If you know your multiples of 3 for multiplication, division is just the opposite. You'll just count up by 3s, and when your fingers stop, that's your answer. That's your quotient. Thinking cap. We've got several thinking cap problems to do because there wasn't much to the learning because, like I said, it is division by 3. Mom, Dad, Drew, Ashley, Jacob, and Emily visited a geyser that erupts every 25 minutes. If they watched for 1 hour, what is the most number of times that they could have seen the geyser erupt? Now, they're throwing you off because they included the people that are there. Do the people that are there have anything to do with how often the geyser erupts? No. What we do know is that the geyser erupts every 25 minutes. This is a think about it problem. And I want to know how many possible times could they see the geyser erupt. Now you know that an hour has 60 minutes in it. So if I counted 25s, I would say 25, 50, 75. Well, 75 is too far, isn't it? The most I could see it erupt is 2 times because I counted multiples of 25, 25, 50. Lucy, don't eat that. She's trying to eat the decorations off of a poster. Silly girl. The most I could see it erupt is 2 times. But let's say that I started watching the geyser at 25 past. Well, if the geyser erupts every... Let's go back and let's think about that, Miss Millette. Miss Millette just made a mistake. Let's stop and think about that. Let's say that the geyser erupted right here on the O clock. That would be 1 time. Then it could erupt at the 25. That would be 2 times. And then it could erupt at the 50, and that could be 3 times. Miss Millette got tricked. Miss Millette got tricked. So the most number of times we could see it erupt is actually 3. If it erupted exactly at 0 o'clock, then again at 25, and again at 50. The least that we could see it erupt would be how many times? Well, let's say that we saw it erupt at, let's say, 15 after. If it erupted at 15 after, and then it erupted again in 25 minutes, that would put us at 40 minutes, so that would be 1, 2. So I'm thinking that the fewest number of times we could see it erupt would be 2. The most we could see it erupt would be 3 if it erupted exactly at the 0 o'clock. Even if it erupted at 25 after, and it erupted again, that would still give me 25, 50. That's still 2 times. I was trying to think in my head if there was a way that we could only see it erupt 1 time, and I can't make that scenario happen. If you can, let me know. But I'm only seeing it happen at the most 3 and at the least 2. All right? Listen to this next part. If they saw it erupt within 10 minutes of erupting, if they saw it erupt within 10 minutes of arriving, they could watch it erupt 2 more times in the next 50 minutes. What is the least number of times that it could erupt? We've already determined that would be 2. Even if it had just erupted before they got there, they could still see it erupt twice in 1 hour, just like everything I just went through. All right, the next thing that we're going to look at, those thinking questions with time, you really have to be on your A game or you will get tricked. Look at this amount of money. Now, I am trying to trick you with this one. What digit is in the ones place? Are ones behind the decimal or ones ahead of the decimal? Well, you should have told me that the 3 is, because this is the $1 column, so these are ones. The 3 tells us 3 whole dollars. The 7 tells us what? The 7 tells us 7 pennies. A penny is a part of $1. Remember, we discussed that digits to the right of the decimal or less than $1. $1 equals 100 cents. 7 pennies have a value of 7 out of 100. Because if I wanted this to move to the ones place, I'd have to have 100 of them. So the penny is 7 out of 100 cents. 7 pennies is like a fraction. The 7 in the numerator tells us what part of the set we have. The 100 is the denominator, which tells us the size of the set. Look at this dollar amount. What digit is in the ones place? Well, the dollar, the $1 are here. So 8 is in the ones place. The cents part is 9 cents. What fraction of $1 is 9 cents? This means that I need 100, so 9 cents is 9 out of 100 cents. Okay? So you did several things today. One, you did division using 3 as the multiple. We talked about that elapsed time problem. If you have one of those, don't get tricked up. And we talked about the dollar being the ones place and the penny being 1/100th. That means it's much smaller. It takes 100 of these to make $1. So if you have a 7 in the pennies column, that's 7 out of 100 pennies. If you have a 9 in the pennies column, that means 9 out of 100 pennies. Now your job today is to do workbook pages 309 and 310. And let me make sure I didn't forget to send your parents anything. No, you're good. You're dividing by 3. Just as a reminder, 1/3 of 6. We're going to count by 3s until we say 6. 3, 6. How many fingers are up? 2. So if you had 1/3 of 6, you would count 3s. 3, 6. And you have 2 groups. If you have 1/3 of 9, there are 2 ways to do it. You can draw a picture or a model. And you can circle groups of 3. 3, 3, 3. Or you can count 3, 6, 9. I have 3 groups circled, and I counted 3 multiples. Either way, I get the same answer. So when it's asking you to find a fraction of a group, you're going to count your multiples. When it says to divide by 3, you're still going to count your multiples. This is a good review page. It has multiples of 3. It has multiplication problems, division problems, word problems, money problems, addition with regrouping, addition with subtraction. It's just a good practice page or good set of practice pages. So do 309, 310 to keep your skills sharp. And then that's it for today. All right, guys, have a great afternoon. Love you much. Miss you much.